I'm speaking to all of my sales reps right now, so if you are a sales rep, listen. Do not blow your money. And trust me, I get it. I've been in the industry for 4 years. I've made about $1 million in aggregate. But I want you guys to know the money comes quick. It can go just as quick if you're not smart. And I see this time and time again. I've scaled up multiple sales teams in different industries. And the sales industry is kind of known for being very flashy, you know, going on nice trips, buying nice cars. And trust me, I get it. This is my car. But like, you have to be smart about it. And like for me, yes, I drive a nice car. Yes, I live in a really nice city, but I made sure that I had a certain number of a 6-figure investment saved, invested in my portfolio before I even looked at purchasing a car. And while I was making high 6 figures, I was driving a dented Ford mom car. And all of the sales reps on my team were like, what are you doing? You can afford to buy a nice car. And I was like, no, not until I hit my goal. So especially if you're in the first couple years of sales, build your skill, build your team, stay humble, and set a really high goal, and then splurge on yourself. And then when you hit that goal, don't be afraid to splurge on yourself and show it, because it'll help you with recruiting too.
Once you get to a certain level in life, it's certain conversations that you can't have with certain people around you, because then they look at you like you bragging. Like if I say, I'm about to go cop the new Benz. Like I could talk to you about that because you got a Benz. Like, but you go to the homies on the block and you like, oh, you think you? It's like, bro, we talking high level game right now. We talking something. I like to ask other high level entrepreneurs, like, how do you converse? How do you deal? Like, at what points did you start to really click and move differently, coming from your circumstances?
What's crazy? I put it like this. I understand why wealthy people specifically, like from the white community, I understand why they don't flash their money. Because it comes with a lot of people with the evil eye, as people say. Yeah. And us in the black community specifically, we feel like we start getting money. Even if we don't necessarily, it's the joy of having it, coming from nothing to having it, but we feel like we got to show everybody. And to be honest, a lot of it is based in insecurity. Yeah. It's like you might not feel like nobody, so you feel like, I got to show you all this so you can see me a certain way and so I can feel a certain way. At the end of the day, once you win it, it's going to show. Even if you're not fun, it's certain lifestyles you can't fake. So it's like at that point, I don't have to show y'all I'm winning no more. Y'all just know it when y'all see me.
Things I thought were normal growing up rich. I always wondered how my parents weren't broke. I literally thought they were both unemployed. Now that I'm older, I understand that my dad's an investor. But when I was a kid, I never saw any one of my parents go to an office or go on a business trip or anything like that. In fact, on my sister's first day of preschool, they picked her up in a Rolls Royce, and I think they got so many weird stares from everyone else in the school that when it was my turn to go to preschool, they never did that for me. Because none of my parents had conventional jobs, we were always traveling for months in a year. When we were in like first grade, we skipped a whole semester of school, which looking back on is kind of crazy because we still had to pay full school fees. And then when we did go on trips, we always took our full-time nanny, so it didn't matter if we were flying private or staying in like a castle in Scotland, she was always gonna come with us. In school, I felt like all the popular girls either played netball or soccer or basketball, and I had to play tennis. And when I asked my parents why I couldn't play netball instead of tennis, they said it was because the other sports were cheap. My mom told me because tennis is usually a solo sport or in pairs, it's more expensive to rent a court, the equipment is more expensive, and just everything was more costly. Some other rich people activities my parents made us do was skiing, horseback riding, and shooting lessons, which was a weird one. I actually really like that one, like clay pigeon shotgun shooting. I've also never had a sleepover in my life, and I don't necessarily think that this is related to me growing up rich. However, I do think because my parents don't have a usual job, they had so much free time that they could be super helicopter strict parents. So you know that super rich kids audio where it's like parents weren't around enough? That I think was false, at least in my case, because my parents were always around. Guys, I kid you not, I used to feel so dumb and low-key embarrassed that I didn't know that my parents had a job when I was little. So I remember one time in class, we had to like draw our parents' occupation, and I drew my dad playing chess. That's all I really saw him do. I also think because growing up, I never saw my parents working, every time somebody would ask me what I wanted to do when I was older or my plans for a job, I would just straight up tell them I don't want to have a job, which I obviously know is such a privileged position to be in, and I'm so grateful. Love you guys so much. Bye.
Until one's name is known, they will wear the brands of names that are. What do I mean by this? I have never seen a truly wealthy man or woman wear anything branded. I went to school with billionaires, or sons of them, Quite literally, some of these kids had their own businesses, $1 million businesses. And rarely did I ever catch them in a branded t-shirt. What you need to remember is that money is loud, okay? Money makes its entrance known. But true wealth is silent. Notice how you'll never catch these big names, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, in a branded t-shirt. You will never see them walking around with Gucci smacked on the front of their chest. There's a way that wealthy people make their status known, okay? It is through two things: their etiquette and a statement piece. You'll see a very wealthy man walk into a restaurant and immediately fold his napkin on his lap the moment he seats, and you'll look down and see an AP watch on his wrist. That is true wealth. But the person who walks around in branded apparel head to toe,
Zuckerberg wears same clothes, same shirt, same pants all the time. His t-shirts, his pants, each could cost upwards of $400, $500, $600 for one garment. And he wears a lot of high-end brands like Loro Piana and Brunello Cucinelli that no one would ever notice.
I definitely wouldn't notice. They look like cheap t-shirts to me.
They appear that way, but only the people in the know actually know, and it's called quiet luxury.
Do you own any of those other brands you just talked about?
Yes, I own some Bruno and I own some Loro Piana, which is actually my favorite brand. My favorite thing are all the shoes that they make, the open walks or the summer walks. One pair of shoes is gonna set you back about $1,000.
$1,000 for a pair of shoes? Do Mark and Jeff wear those too?
Of course they do.
I remember this one time where I met with a wealthy client and I arrived early. I showed up a little bit more dressed up than usual. And when I met this person came to me and said, hey, I have to say, you dress very well, especially for your age, because I was a very young entrepreneur. This was in my 20s, and I would wear polos. I'd have my shirt tucked in. I'll have nice slacks. I wouldn't wear like loud name brand clothes. I'd wear more minimal, well-made, tailored clothes. And clients really saw this. And then from there, I've just noticed that, wow, we have to present ourselves to the T, especially as minorities when we're doing business, when we're going to the events. We stick out. That's just the truth, but we have to look the part. So what I do recommend is quiet luxury when you're looking for wardrobe essentials.
I think quiet luxury is the new thing that I'm into, and here's why. I almost brought a new Macan home this afternoon, and my mom was also thinking about bringing home a new Macan as well. And while I was really excited about these decisions that we were making, I was thinking about if it was something I would post on social media. Now you're probably thinking, well, if I was bringing home that kind of car, like, of course I'd be posting about it on social media. Except the kind of person that I want to build myself into is the kind of person that indulges in quiet luxury and doesn't show everything on social media. Especially a big decision like bringing home a brand new luxury car in your mid-20s. It's not a matter of not being proud of yourself or keeping that Ferrari in the garage and never taking it out on a Sunday. I don't know if all of you will get that reference, but if you do, great. My point is, sometimes the big life accomplishments, those big milestones, are things that don't always need to be posted on social media for the validation of others. I naturally get under a lot of people's skin by the way I present myself, the things that I may have, whether it be materialistic or just my presence. And I knew if I did post about something, I would probably get a whole lot of flack for it. At the end of the day, post what you want. If you want to post and you want to be loud and proud, I support that 100%. For me personally, I'm trying to live on a more quiet luxury type scale, and that works for me at the moment. Also too, I would much rather want to spend a big accomplishment with my friends and family than have a bunch of strangers who don't actually know who I am view it on my Instagram. That's all.
Okay, a clear sign that somebody has money. I was reading about this from like a yacht convention where the salespeople are trained to spot who can actually afford a yacht. A clear sign that somebody has money is that they don't look like they have money. In other words, they don't wear expensive suits or expensive watches. Because one of the things that rich people know is that the best way to lose your money is to spend it on luxury goods. That the commodities that are designed to signify wealth are actually the things that will make you less wealthy. That, to all intents and purposes, a lot of rich people walk around as if they were poor with that kind of a mindset. They don't buy into fashion. They don't buy something expensive just to show that they can, because they're investing their money. They're safeguarding their wealth. Of course, you could argue that the ultimate waste of money is a yacht, right? A yacht is something that immediately depreciates in value, that has no real purpose other than being the most expensive thing you can buy after a jet. And yet the salespeople knew exactly that the people who were there just to be seen looking at yachts were the people who dressed up to the nines, and that the people who could actually afford a yacht were the people who were dressed down, who weren't dressing to impress because they were there to buy a yacht, which is much more impressive than an expensive suit. Anyway, this all goes to say that there's this weird paradox by which a sign of the rich and a sign of being wealthy is precisely that they look and act poor. And I think that's interesting.
And you follow Specs and Blazers, who teaches you everything you need to know about quiet luxury.